Hello, welcome back. My name is Mackenzie and I do a lot of TTC videos here on YouTube. I struggle with infertility. I was diagnosed with PCOS and my husband and I have been trying for almost 3 years now to have a baby. And this is basically an update video. I've gotten a lot of questions on my Instagram from girls who follow me and just basically asking for an update because I believe the last video that I made, was right after our failed IUI and we were jumping right into the next cycle. And I just haven't made an update video yet, but here it is. So I guess I'll kind of do a brief update through the whole process. If you're new here, we have struggled with infertility. Obviously, we've done a lot of infertility treatments or medicated cycles and have been referred to a specialist, kind of hopped around to different clinics just to see like who could figure out the secret potion of medicine that works for me. So I struggle with PCOS. I do not typically or really ever have ovulated on my own. So I have done Clomid 4 rounds and Letrozole 4 rounds. We did 1 IUI and 2 trigger shots. The IUI and the trigger shots have happened over the last 3 to 4 months. And this is kind of an update on everything. So I'm obviously not pregnant. And this last month, we had kind of discussed it being our last month that we were going to do infertility treatments. That's not a permanent decision, but it's just a temporary decision. We don't know when we're going to start back up treatments again. We haven't really set a timeline for things, but the cycle before last, we did an IUI, and I was super hopeful about it because it was our first IUI, because it was the first couple months that we had been to this new clinic for us, and they had finally kind of figured out the dosage of medication that worked for me, which I was super excited about and very thankful for because, it had been over 2 years and nothing had worked. I'd had a trigger shot for right at a year that I hadn't been able to use because my follicles had never gotten big enough for me to use them. But finally they figured it out, and I will make a video about my experiences on all of my medication, which I know I've made a video about that before. It was kind of like side effects for me and my experiences on those and what happened while I was taking them. But I'm going to kind of make the same video again, but talk about more about dosages and the side effects with each of those, and then costs for everything. So I think that'll be a video that people might like. That's something that I searched for a lot and didn't find out a whole lot. Found a lot of videos specific to one medication and success videos and stuff, but not really one video that talked about both Clomid and Letrozole or Femera, and with trigger shot and what dosage worked and how many dosage or what amount of medication they had taken before that didn't work and then what did. So I think that might be helpful for a lot of people. So look forward to that. But we had done the IUI and went into this most previous cycle and kind of talked about doing another IUI. But just the reality is infertility is expensive. And, with Christmas and the time of the year and the end of the year and our business, I didn't feel really guilty for wanting to do an IUI, but I just knew it was going to be our last month doing medicated cycles, and I don't really know if an IUI would up our chances. I mean, I know it technically does, but I don't know. I just wasn't ready to let go of that $800 total for everything for the most part, plus a little bit more. And I just figured timed intercourse would, for this month, suit. So that's what we did. Unfortunately, it didn't work, and I don't know how I'm feeling, to be honest with you. Going into the month, knowing it was going to be our last month for a while, doing treatment, I was super excited and very hopeful, like every other month that I am, especially because if we were to conceive the cycle, the due date would be in my birthday month and my dad's birthday month. And that was just like super exciting. I'm very superstitious. So I don't know. I was excited about the possibility of that happening. But I waited my 2 weeks and I took a test and it was negative. I'm one of those people that like wants to test a few days after the 2 week mark because I know my body has always not done what it's supposed to do. So leave it up to me to be like a month pregnant and my body still doesn't tell me, which I know is almost impossible, but whatever. So I waited the couple days and took tests and they were still negative. And honestly, I didn't know how to feel. Even when you're super excited and super hopeful, you would think you would be super disappointed with a negative test, but I think at this point I've just seen so many that maybe it didn't surprise me. And I don't think I quite felt the weight of it being our last month. And when I say last month, it's not that we're not going to try. We're going to still try naturally, but for someone who doesn't ovulate, the chances of actually conceiving naturally are not zero, because technically I don't think it can be zero, but are very, very low. So that's what I mean when I say our last month. Because for me to get pregnant without medication is almost impossible. Just the way that my body is, unless it decides to do what it's supposed to do, and that would be a miracle and amazing. So, but that's what I mean by that. But I didn't really know how to feel. I think I anticipated being quite a bit more upset than I actually was, because when I tested it, it was negative. I didn't cry like I normally do, but I think part of me was relieved of the weight that you carry when you're struggling with infertility, and knowing that there was, I didn't have to jump into taking medications every day and checking for ovulation and doing all these things, and then timing intercourse, which if you have struggled with infertility and you're trying to have a baby, having sex is totally different with your partner when it has to be on specific days and you've been doing it for so long, which totally sucks. And bless Jerry's heart, he's super great about it for the most part. But there are definitely times where I'm like, oh, tonight, like, really? Does it have to be today? And it just, I don't know. It like changes the dynamic of having sex with your partner when it's scheduled like this. So I don't know, like the spontaneous sex is kind of what I miss, because when you're planning it, I don't know, just it's different. You guys will understand, but it's just totally different. And I don't like that pressure, and I know Jerry definitely does not like that pressure. So that was a relief. And I think mentally I just needed a break from all of the scheduling and being organized and planning and taking everything at the right time. And it's just a lot. It gets overwhelming, which when you're in the middle of it, to me, it was fun because every day there's something to do and something to take and something to check and something to plan. And you're going in for a follicle scan, and then a week later you do another one. And it's just like back to back to back, which I love packing my schedule like that. And I think it's kind of a bad thing now that I think about it, because really it was just keeping my mind off of the possibility of not being pregnant, and it's a distraction, and you don't realize how much that exhausts you mentally and physically. So I don't know, I think when I took that test after my 2 weeks and it was negative, I was just like, okay, well, it's time to just move forward. Until a couple days later, my husband and I went out to eat, and it was kind of the first night that we had had together in a long time that wasn't just consumed with talking about our business. So if you don't know, I'll just give you a brief thing. My husband's job that he'd been at for years laid off all of their drivers. He worked for a trucking company, and a lot of their management, and that's what he was during COVID, and ended up coming back and saying, hey, like, we're not going to bring a lot of people back till possibly the first of the year. So Jerry and I took that opportunity for him to get back into owning his own business and doing what he loves, which is building things. So shops, decks, privacy fence. He's so incredibly talented. The work that he does is absolutely beautiful. You should go follow us on a Facebook page. It's Outdoor Dreams LLC. And it was just an opportunity where we're like, well, we can just dive into this and hopefully be successful, or he could find another job, which would have been easy. He knows a lot of people. He's had a lot of experience, but I don't know. We just thought it was, I don't know if the right time. In the middle of a pandemic, but anyways, that's what we did. So the last 6 months have been filled with conversations about the business and planning and figuring everything out and financing and tax stuff and just all of the things just kind of consumes our conversation. So back to the night that we had a dinner, and it was just super fun and relaxed, and for the first time in a long time we just kind of enjoyed each other and enjoyed the time together, and it was just easy, and I loved it. And we were sitting there eating pizza at this restaurant, and there wasn't a whole lot of people there, but there was a couple about our age that were sitting kind of at a table right next to us, and they had a little 2-year-old son, and he was so cute, so cute. And the banter and the interaction that his parents had with him was so fun, and I don't know, it just reminded me, I wouldn't have experience, but it just made me think of the type of relationship and dynamic that Jerry and I would have with a son or daughter. And in the moment when they were there, I was totally enjoying it. I was just giggling, and Jerry was looking at him and laughing, and the son was kind of playing around the table and just making everyone smile around him. And instead of the parents getting mad and making him come sit down back at the table, because he was being very good. He was very well mannered. He wasn't running around the restaurant like a little crazed kid. He was staying right there, just doing funny things kind of quietly to himself. And you could tell the parents just absolutely loved it, and they loved that their son were making people around him smile. And I just made eye contact with the mom once, and she just gave me this big grin because I was giving her a big grin, and you could just tell how much she loved him, and loved how much her husband was interacting with him, because her husband would kind of egg him on, and then the son and the husband would both look at the mom to see her response. And I don't know, it was just very familiar to me and made me think of what Jerry would do. And it was just fun, and we were just finishing eating and still talking and laughing at the boy, and then they finished up their meal and they left. And I'm getting emotional, but they left, and I was just watching the waitress clean up their table, and this little boy had just, of course, not colored. He just scribbled all over this piece of paper that they gave him to color with. And I just got so sad, because they were just there, and it was so fun and so cute. And then they weren't there, and then all their dishes and the coloring was just taken away. And I just had this overwhelming feeling of just sadness, and not jealousy. I just don't feel like jealousy is the right word to use, because I'm so thankful for the parents who love their children like that, because there are so many children in this world who don't have that. So it's not jealousy, but in a way I was very envious of them, because I didn't have that. And my eyes just swelled with tears, and I was trying to hold it back, because my husband and I, for the first time, had time to ourselves. And like I said, our conversation was good, and we were having so much fun, and everything was lighthearted, and there was no stressful conversations about work or finances or anything like that. It was just good. And then here I am like wanting to bawl my eyes out in the middle of a restaurant. So I became quiet, and I was just trying to like rein back all of my emotions so I wouldn't start crying in the middle of a restaurant, and I did very good. And then when we walked out, I just could not help it, and they just started falling, and it was just really sad. And I got in the car, and I just said to Jerry, I said, when will this sadness go away? Like, when does the frustration end? Like, when can I just walk into a place and see a child and not feel like this? Because it's not all the time. You know, it's not all the time. It's not all the time that this was my reaction. And I just asked him, like, I don't know when the pain will go away or if it ever will. And it was his heart. He's so like collected and very, very simple person, which I love about him. And he doesn't like, and I don't know, he's never like emotional in conversations, but it kind of helps me balance out. And he just said, I know, baby, I know. And he just kind of like held my hand, and it was fine. And I got over it, and like my moment of tears passed. Like, I'm collecting myself now. But man, those situations totally freaking suck, because it just makes you realize that the reality is that you don't have that, and you've struggled with trying to have that, and you can't have that, is what it seems like. And that's all you want. Like, all I want was at that moment is to be those parents and to have that child, and or have a child, and that's all I wanted. So I didn't cry after the 2 weeks, but I made up for it that night. And I think the point I'm trying to make is that we never truly get over or accept the fact that having a biological child right now or in the future just might not be a possibility for some of us. You know, could we do IVF? Yeah, but that's super expensive. And that's not an option for a lot of people. So that's what I mean when I say it could just not happen for us. And I don't think that pain or that yearning will ever go away, unfortunately. I think it'll be easier to cope with as we find other avenues to grow our family. But one thing that has definitely got me through all of this is quite a while back, at least 6 months ago, we decided that we wanted to be certified foster parents, because ideally we wanted to foster to adopt. And ideally I would just adopt right from the get-go, but adoption, I'm pretty sure on average in the United States, costs the average couple about $40,000. And again, that's not an option for us. So fostering to adopt was the route to go. And regardless if adoption ends up being the reality at the end, even if we are just fostering children and giving them a loving home and stability and something that they need in their life, that's something that really matters to me. And I've been looking forward to it a lot, and we're actually doing it with 2 of our best friends who are also fostering to adopt as well. And fostering to adopt was the route that they wanted to go before having biological children. So it's been such a cool feeling and experience knowing that I'm doing it with someone that I absolutely love, being Jerry, and also love being the couple that we're doing it with. So that has been a light during a lot of the darkness of infertility over the last 6 months or so, just knowing that my opportunity and our opportunity to have a child will not end. And we're also doing something really good in the meantime. So that was the certification was supposed to be at the end of the year sometime. We're still waiting for plans because COVID kind of messed everything up, and everything's having to be done over Zoom and all this kind of stuff. But basically we go through the training and then have our home study, and then become certified, and then let them know what age ranges we're wanting to take, if we're open to siblings, and just go from there. So I'm hoping, oh my gosh, I'm hoping that happens soon, and we just get very fortunate and very lucky to have an opportunity to foster, to adopt. Ideally, I would love to have an infant, because I think that stems from me wanting to be pregnant and have my own biological child and raise a child from birth on. But if not, we are open to under 2 years old or 3 years old. Boy or girl does not matter. And I'm just super excited for that. So I am thankful for that opportunity to grow our family. And hopefully that's not the end of the road. I would love to be one of those stories where a couple fosters to adopt, and they have a placement and they are going through adoption, and then the mom gets pregnant. Totally cool with that. I'm sure Jerry would like roll his eyes and grin, but I don't care. Like, I would love that. I absolutely love that. So that is where we're at. It's a sad ending to the trying to conceive for a biological child, but also very exciting that we are going to foster in hopes to adopt, and we are finding other ways to help children around us, and also grow our family, and that I love. And although the one thing I've always wanted is to have my own child, I am not grateful, but I appreciate the experience of infertility, because I've learned so much. I've met so many different people through it. It's just been something that I will always hold dear to my heart in many ways. And it's not over, so don't think that I'm like leaving you guys high and dry. I have lots of information I want to share and lots of videos to make that I hope will help just one of you out there, whether it's comforting or you learn a new supplement to take, or I don't know, something I say helps you. And I have a lot of those videos to make, but usually when I do make videos, it's update videos on where I'm at on my cycle and my experiences, because that's what you guys always usually ask me for on my Instagram, because I think a lot of you are in the same boat as me. My skin is so sensitive. Like, I literally just scratched my face and now it's beet red. Anyways. But a lot of these videos will help you guys too. I just have so much stuff that I want to make videos on, and I will use this time taking a break from the fertility treatment to make those videos to hopefully help you guys. So as always, if you guys have any questions or want to see a specific video or want me to talk about something specific, please comment on my videos. Shoot me a message on Instagram. I am best at replying on Instagram than I am on YouTube. So just look me up. It's Mackenzie Jump or Mackenzie JJ. And find me on there. So I appreciate all of you guys. I love all you guys. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for all the support all the time, and just being there to listen. And I hope something that I do or say or have done or experienced will help you in your journey. And good luck. And I will be a lot better about making videos now. It's weird when you're in the middle of a cycle and there's like nothing to update. So now that I have stuff to actually make videos with and I have time to do that, and I'm not updating on my cycle, makes it a lot easier to make videos. So there you go. I will see you